Hello everyone, we're looking at variations again in the Queen's Gambit Decline exchange variation. We went over three basic plans for white and three basic plans uh, to, in reaction to those plans from the black side. Now we're going to maybe take a video or two and look at some miscellaneous defenses that black may choose here. And this game is between Vasily Ivanchuk, who's rated 2720 at the time with the white pieces, and Nigel Short with the black pieces. This is a kind of a pet variation that Nigel Short has played frequently through the years. This game comes from Linares, 1992. So the game started off d4 from Ivanchuk, knight f6 from Nigel, c4, e6, knight c3, and now we enter into our Queen's Gambit exchange, and now we have our exchange variation. So normally what we've been seeing is variations where white kind of dictates the pace. For instance, e3 is played, then c6, knight f3, and so on. And then we see all of white's different plans taking place, whether it's rook b1 or a3, followed by b4 with this idea of transferring the pawn base from b7 to c6. We also saw the ideas of f3, followed by e4, establishing the pawn center, strong pawn center, and with white castling both on the king side and queen side. Okay, with various attacking ideas. With that in mind, we can kind of see a reason for black's next move here. And what black is doing is basically looking to circumvent all those variations here. And here, bishop f5 is a move that is played very often. Okay, just immediately taking over the most important diagonal in the position. Ivanchuk plays e3. It's common. c6. And now queen f3 here, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back, and bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, and an immediate endgame is the result. Now, what does black have in compensation for his doubled pawns? Well, he just has the bishop pair. In this endgame occurs not frequently, but in this variation, you see black does come under pressure in this variation, but he is able to hold. So this variation is a viable alternative. But if you're black, don't think that the game is just an easy draw once the queens are off, because you're far from a draw. Think Berlin defense here as far as the rich middle game possibilities. Okay, so if you're black, don't think, okay, now it's an easy draw. Okay, because if it was, everybody would be playing this variation. It is tough with the pawns being the way they are. All right, but what it does allow is for black to master this particular position and variation, because black is kind of dictating the game after bishop f5. Okay, because none of white's plans are available that he usually wants to play, with bishop d3, queen on c2, knight f3, etc. All right, rook b1, all of that is kind of out the window. The price he pays, though, is he takes his damaged pawn structure on. All right. Just want to go back a little and show you another possibility. So, of course, e3 is one of the main moves that's played. Another one is just simply this idea of taking the bishop, taking the knight right away. All right, so just playing bishop takes f6. All right, and then g takes f6. Of course, on queen takes f6, knight d5, and queen d6, and then we're kind of in gambit mode at this moment. This is playable, but again, this would have to be something that you study on your own. As you can see, black is active, but he's still down a pawn. Okay, All right, so this is just the result of playing the move queen takes f6. Like I said, it's playable, but you're down a pawn. I mean, I wouldn't play this. So common would be bishop takes f6, g takes f6, keeping this protected. And then you can play that same idea with e3, but the idea I had in mind is just queen b3 with the double attack here and here. And the game will become very sharp. Okay, so it's definitely playable here. Okay, for instance, if queen takes d5 at this point, queen takes d5, knight takes d5, castles, and again, black's game is based on activity and dynamism. Okay, and black has actually an excellent position here. He's really active. So this is definitely a position worth studying if you want to avoid, these main plans for white in the queen's gambit um, decline exchange variation. So back to the game. This main line position occurred, and I'll just go through these moves quickly because I just wanted to show you the opening plan here. But I'll show you how black was able to um, play. So Nigel Short played knight d7, Ivan Chuck bishop d3, knight f3, knight b6, b3, king d7. A lot of maneuvering going on. Knight e1, bishop b4, knight c2, takes, and now knight c8 on this way to d6, f3, and now Short will pile up on the e file. Bishops come off f5, okay, holding back the e4 pawn advance. c5, knight c3, attacking the d5 pawn, king c6. Again, I'm just speeding through the moves just to show you how the game went. At this point, black is equalized. Okay, and he just has to be careful at this point. Okay, he's pretty much done a good job with his weaknesses that he has on the king side. Notice that these double pawns now are good restrictive agents to white's e pawn, and also keep white's g pawn weak. Okay, so any advance that white makes, whether it's the e pawn or g pawn, black is to simply just trade off his weaknesses. And after a few more moves, there it is. Players just simply agreed to a draw here. In this position, if e5, then just rook g5, rook g4, and black is just winning here. There's no way to defend this pawn coming here. Excuse me, the rook taking here. So knight b5, for instance, would just be met by takes, and black would just be winning the pawn. So after this, players agreed to a draw. But again, the plan that I wanted you to see here was just simply after the exchange, after bishop g5, bishop f5 right away. Alright, so if you're having some trouble with the Queen's Gambit decline exchange variation, try this plan as black. What you will have to study though is lines definitely with Queen b3 after bishop takes. Right, so if white decides to take early here, you have to look at these lines. Study these lines right here. And again, the general policy is that black is going to have to play a dynamic game. It's not going to be one of these games where he's playing quiet and positional, right? His pawn structure and the fact that he owns a bishop pair, he has open files, he's going to have to play dynamically. So this is the type of game you would be looking for. So for instance, stuff like this. The game is definitely up for grabs here. And here's the main line where the queen comes out. and I suggest you look at some more games from Nigel Short in this variation also. And I believe there's also a game between Magnus Carlsen and Vladimir Kramnik in this line with the black pieces, where Carlsen absolutely crushes him.